pleased with our team. And just because you don't make a trade doesn't mean, that's not the only way you acquire players. Certainly we can continue to look for ways to make our team better, and we will. But, at the same time, we got some guys at certain positions that are going to be available to come off the IR designated to return that can help us. But we really like this team. We like the depth on this team. We were probably, for the most part, looking in an obvious area where, people might think we could use a little more help there. But I still like that. I like our crew there. I like CD. I like Gallup. I like Noah. I think Tolbert's coming. And then certainly, as I mentioned, we have guys that are on the IR that can come off that as well. In particular, James Washington, who's a veteran in this league, certainly can bring help. And then if you never know what other opportunities might arise out there if we feel like there's an upgraded situation there. And, of course, left out Turpin, who's obviously an explosive player that, as we continue to get our hands around some of the things he can do, can bring some offensive firepower as well.
Against Tristan Hills, I guess we had a logjam, get rid of a logjam at defensive line. How do you assess that position right now?
Well, of course, we were working on a couple things with him as well yesterday, and had some opportunities that just didn't quite fit on player type situation. But Tristan's a good football player. We just we have some as we call them, the bigs. We're a little heavy there. Of course, traded for a great player, a really solid player in Hankins in terms of what we felt like was an area we needed to improve with the run game. He certainly brings help there, and we just had to make a tough decision from a number standpoint. But Tristan Player's a really good football player, and I know he'll continue to play in this league.
Do you ever get influenced by what other contenders in the conference did? Minnesota made the tight end trade, San Francisco to McCaffrey, Philly gets Quinn. Does that ever influence your decision with the other teams in your conference?
I would say no. We have to take care of our business, and we have to take care of our roster. We have to make the decisions that are best to improve our football team. So, we're keeping our eye on the ball in terms of how we can improve our football team as we move forward. As I said, we really like this team. We have to continue to get better. I think we made a big step last week with the offensive side of the ball, and I do think they'll continue to get better as Dak gets in his rhythm after having to sit out, for almost half the season. And certainly you're starting to see what he can do for this offense and the weapons that we do have here. And as I said, we have some that could come off IR and continue to help us.
You've had good teams before, but is this race for in the NFC wide open as you've ever seen?
The race wide open? Absolutely. I mean, in the NFL, it's close. I mean, the differentials between the 6 and the 2s, there's a whole lot of 3 and 4s and 4s and 3s and 4 and 4s. It's a tight, and all it takes is a team getting hot. And there may be a team, that people aren't necessarily giving a lot of credit to right now that could jump up. Our job is not to worry about what others are doing, is keep our eye on our ball and keep our eye on making our team better, the players and the coaching staff, making sure the team gets better every week. And certainly it's our job, too, to look out for ways to make the team better if the right situation presents itself. Unfortunately, we worked hard yesterday, had a long day, really felt like some things might happen, and didn't work out.
Health-wise, where you stand with Zeke? Confident he might play next week against Green Bay?
I missed the first part. Zeke,
Yeah.
yes. I think he's got a great opportunity to play against the Packers. So we'll, continue to monitor him. We're a ways off from when we play that game. We have the bye week. I think the bye week came at a great time. Obviously, we were missing, some really solid players that we missed on the field when we were playing the Bears. And a guy like a Hooker should be back. We really missed him. He's doing a great job for us this year. But I think most of these injured players, if not all, that were inactive, have a great chance to be back and play against the Packers.
What's the difference between 62 this year and 62 last year?
I just, I like both teams. So to say there's a huge difference, I wouldn't say that. I think our defense is coming, is probably further along after another year under Dan Quinn. I think our offense was more ready to go because Dak didn't miss any time. I mean, he was game in, game out, consistently there. what I like about this team is the upside that we have with our offense. And as I said, we got to see a little taste of that against the Bears. They're a good defense, and I think we can continue to get better. So I guess if there's any difference, I just feel like this team, still has some pretty good upside in terms of improving as an overall team.
With Tyron, do you circle a date yet of when he might be able to come back and play or start practice? Maybe is a better way to look at it.
When you're still 3 or 4 weeks out, and 3 or 4 or 5, you don't really know for sure till you really start to hone in. And I think we got some of the best in the business, and Britt Brown in particular, who's in charge of the rehab part of this. I mean, Jim Maurer does an amazing job. So I know they're going to get the most out of them and get them ready to play football, in a timely fashion that meets with the timeline that's best for Tyron. Certainly, to have a Hall of Fame type left tackle sitting there ready to come back, certainly makes you feel good. When you talk in terms of how you're going to improve as a team, to have a guy like that coming back is a huge plus.
Is it 3-4 weeks? Is that the start the practice window in your mind? Is that where you?
Yeah, I think you're 3 or 4 weeks before you think about starting the window. Now that could change. I mean, it's, with Britt Brown, anything can happen. I'll put the pressure on him.
With Washington, when do you think his window? Maybe when you guys are back to work next week?
Yeah, well, he's getting close, so we'll continue to monitor that and see how that's coming along as well.
McGovern's injury, is it serious or was he?
We feel good about McGovern. I don't think we're, he tweaked it, and that's part of playing in the NFL. I mean, you can go, I'm sure, team by team, all 32 teams, and everybody's got guys who are dealing with, old injuries that get tweaked, and then they're able to work through it. I mean, I have so much respect for people who play in the NFL because, once you start that season and you start that grind, there's not many guys who can walk out there and say I'm 110%. So it's the nature of our game. I have nothing but respect for the players that play it.
You say your rookie class this year is a little bit better than what you got last year. Nothing against last year, but you seem to have more of an impact with this class.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to compare those things. I mean, everything's timing as to when they come along, and certainly it's, the good news about both classes is we continue, with our organization. Overall, we draft well, and certainly that's a big key in my mind to being consistent year in and year out, is drafting well, drafting players that get on the field that help you win football games. And hats off to our scouting department led by Will McClay. Hats off to our coaching staff who develop these guys once they get their hands on them. It's an organizational thing, and to compare class is probably a little unfair till you really see it pan out over 3 or 4 years.
I've seen 10 trades yesterday. I think that's the most it's ever been on the deadline day.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that's kind of changing? Why is that evolving the way it has?
I think people are more and more comfortable. I read a deal about the late John McVay that forever, people, had a little reluctance. Say, I'm going to stick with my guys to make a trade. And I just think people are more and more comfortable, getting their hands around what their roster is and what it can be if you make a trade. We've never been averse to trades. I mean, we've traded for, I think we've given 3 number ones for receivers since we've been here. So not to mention the ones we've drafted. So, we're comfortable making trades. We were comfortable making a trade yesterday, but I think it's exciting for the game. I think it's exciting for fans to see trades made. I think it causes them to follow the game more. I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Hey guys, if you want